I've been looking for a savior in these dirty streets.
Tori Amos tells Nancy Collins how she survived a rape and found her own voice in her music. A Wounded Heart Sings, when Primetime continues.
On her debut solo album, Little Earthquakes, singer Tori Amos wrote a stunning song about what it is like to be raped. You can laugh, she wrote. It's kind of funny, the things you think at times like these. That album won both critical acclaim and commercial success. And tonight, for the first time on television, she tells Nancy Collins about the trauma of the rape and about reclaiming her soul.
What is it about the music of this tiny red-headed preacher's daughter that sells out concerts across the country?
Never was a cornflake girl. Thought it was a good solution.
And turned this classically trained pianist into a pop star after only 3 albums.
I heard the eternal footman bought himself a bike to race.
Her poetic lyrics are evocative, resonating with the familiar and the forbidden. She's sensual, soul-searching, irreverent. And though she's become a cult figure whose fans line up to hear her sing her personal journey, in the end, she's a girl with her piano and a story.
My strength isn't as a technician. My strength is as a composer. I didn't want to play all these dead guys' music, to be honest with you. I was like, you know, they did something fantastic. But who's going to be breaking those boundaries and limitations for our time?
China, all the way to New York.
Some would say Tori Amos. She grew up rebellious, the daughter of a Methodist minister and his part Cherokee wife.
One thing that's always hard to be the preacher's kid. Did your father expect you to toe a religious mark?
I went to church 4 times a week till I was 21. My father would really have liked me to write religious music.
Tuna rubber, little blubber in my igloo.
She began playing the piano when she was 2. At 5, she was the youngest pupil to be accepted to Baltimore's prestigious Peabody Institute, where she learned to play Mozart and Brahms.
Ever since I remember, I would crawl up and play, and I always knew how to play.
I got me some horses to ride on, to ride on.
When she was 11, Tori lost her scholarship to the Peabody.
I just didn't fit in. They didn't think I was ever going to be a concert pianist, and I wasn't.
When you gonna make up your mind?
2 years later, it was her father who came up with the unorthodox idea for the next leg of her career.
My father looked at me finally after a lot of tugging and pulling back and forth. What are you going to do with your life? Why do I have to do anything with my life? I'm 13. What are you know, the whole thing that happens. And I said, I want to play my music. And he said, all right, then get dressed. Dress up. And we went down and we knocked on about 13 or 14 doors that night. Just knocked.
On bars?
On bars. And he said, my daughter's really good. Can we come in and play for you? And there was a lot of that going on. And the gay clubs opened the door. They said, bring her in then. I was very influenced by these wonderful gay men who gave me the confidence to dress up and taught me how to put on makeup and gave me the courage on, you know, how to kiss a boy. And
They told you?
They taught me
Really?
how to become a young woman.
What was it about their experience that so informed you?
Tenderness. They taught me about tenderness.
Maybe I'm a witch, lost in time.
At 21, Tori headed to Los Angeles and formed a band. Its only album flopped miserably.
When you're a failure in the entertainment business, they're quite vicious. But it was my great gift. That was the greatest gift I ever had. Because
She sat down alone at her piano and began listening to her inner voice.
And I said, you know, what is my intention as a musician? And I started to remember what that was. And I said, whether anybody comes here to listen to what I do or not, I'm going to finally say what I've always thought, what has been hushed up, which I've hushed up.
The result was her first hit album, Little Earthquakes.
Excuse me, but can I be you for a while? My dog won't bite if you sit real still. I got the Antichrist in the kitchen yelling at me again.
I had to write that work to begin to feel like I wanted to be in my own skin again. So just feeling that was such an incredible feeling. Like, wow, I do have thoughts about things, and they're my thoughts.
Silent all these years.
Its centerpiece was a haunting anthem called Me and a Gun, which spoke to many women. Tori Amos sang about the time she was raped.
Me and a gun and a man on my back.
Though it happened in her early 20s, she never talked about it to anyone.
I saw Thelma and Louise, and it brought up things that even I didn't understand. And I think there's some things that I don't want to remember.
One night, after she finished playing at a piano bar, Tori offered a ride to someone she thought was a friend.
Did you ever bring charges, though? Did you go to the police or anything?
No. It's not that simple. Sometimes you're in a situation where if you come forth, you're nailed. The law isn't supportive of violent situations for women. Come on, I was a nightclub singer. I dressed sexy. Look, let's not kid each other. My case was closed before I began.
Did you think it was your fault?
Yeah, I did. Violence is such a strange experience. If you feel that kind of hate from another person, it's like it gets into your cells. It gets into every part of your being. And so I've been committing myself to becoming the phoenix out of the ashes for myself. And Me and a Gun has been a great teacher for me. It's quite a double-edged sword, that song.
How so?
There's a place where when I sing it every night, I'm trying to get to.
Tell me what's right. Is it my right?
Sometimes I get to it, sometimes I don't. Where I'm just trying to free the demons. My commitment is to crossing over that river, the river of victimhood. But you have to be in that river. You will be in that river if you've been violated. I'm really at a place where I believe you can heal. You can heal and yet not forget. And it's a new way of thinking.
So when we died, I tried to bribe.
These days, the healing continues on tour. She and her tightly knit crew will be delivering the gospel, according to Tori, for the next 6 months. Just a girl and her piano on the road.
How do you feel about your piano?
The piano was very much my identity for a long, long time. Now, I feel like we're partners. I think the real musicians, the real the ones that feel it in their soul, hear their instrument speaking.
Silent all these years.
Tori Amos's current U.S. tour is now hitting the East Coast. Her latest album, Boys for Pele, entered the Billboard charts at #2 and has just gone platinum.